Coming up today on Primetime Local News, we have a recap of the CKSA events held over the weekend in Wainwright. And a look at Home Hardware's locally made, ready-to-move homes. Plus, nearing the end of the regular season, we catch up with the Lloydminster Extreme Lacrosse.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Ready-to-move homes aren't a new concept, but they've come a long way in the past few years. A local hardware store are showcasing their ready-to-move homes built in their new yard just south of town. It's hard to miss. Right next to Lloydminster's Home Hardware, this is an RTM show home. RTM stands for Ready to Move.
They have a width of 36 feet and a length of 91 feet maximum, and they can be built as 2 stories and have garages on them. It's basically a fully built home or cottage that we build in our production yard in an efficient timeline and have it delivered out to their location.
Home Hardware offers many different types of models of homes and cottages and allows for customizations. The builds usually take 6 months and can be transported anywhere in Alberta, Saskatchewan, or Manitoba.
So when a customer comes in and they're interested in moving forward with a build, we'll pick out the model that they're most interested in, go through a bit of a questionnaire to determine products they'd like to use, any customization for the floor plan or other details that they're interested in, and then we'll put that together into a proposal for them, start a drafting package, and once we move forward with signing of the contract, then we can begin construction.
Construction takes place a 4-minute drive south of the city at Home Hardware's new RTM lot. This new lot is big enough to build over 30 homes at once, and there are plans in the works to add solar panels to help offset some energy costs.
Constant tours and individuals that will drive by and want to see the progression of either another customer's house or their own as the project evolves and grows. So it's a busy little place, yeah.
Since getting involved in RTM construction, Home Hardware have already seen a steady demand. Part of what attracts people is the construction timeline.
Lots of times people want to start their homes springtime, which, is hard for us because we'll get a rush of people in spring. This way we can start these houses in the fall, build them over the winter, and then just do their foundations in the spring and deliver their homes.
The team at Home Hardware are hoping to break the stigma of short, boxy RTM homes by offering more variety of builds.
Something that we've always been striving for when we started out was to provide something that was different and unique. We don't want to do the standard cookie cutter kind of RTM that everyone thinks of. We want to showcase that what you can dream is something we can build.
For more information on RTM homes, stop by Lloydminster Home Hardware. And it's time now for this week's edition of Retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in Retrospect. Silver screen scenes show off a Border City Queen in '92.
It's not just any night at the movies, it's the premiere screening of the motion picture A League of Their Own. This movie has a special meaning for one woman from Lloydminster.
Her name is Lucella McLean Ross, and Jeff, if you would, we will go bring the old back catcher down.
All right.
Lucella got special attention at the premiere. She's a Lloydminster-born fastball player, and back in the 1940s, she played for the All-American Girls League. The movie is based on that league. It tells the story of how the professional league formed during World War II. The team overcame public skepticism and went on to play for huge crowds for 11 years.
I have lots of good memories.
Here's a 1943 team picture. Lucella's in the front row, second from the right. She still keeps in touch with her teammates.
And we had a reunion in '88 when we went to New York for our display being put into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And next year we have our 50th anniversary in South Bend, Indiana.
The movie maker consulted with players from Lucella's team to make sure the details in the show are accurate.
They did have consultants. They had one of the ladies from our association was there all the time, making sure things were right.
And hootenannies and hoedowns in 97 as the first ever Border Country Jamboree kicks off.
It was quite a weekend for country music lovers in the Midwest. The first ever Border Country Jamboree kicked off Friday night near Sandy Beach. Although the showers did stay away, the cool conditions were not what organizers were hoping for. No real relief Saturday night either, another chilly evening. But visitors like Ann Noble still braved the weather, although it meant turning in a little earlier.
2 sleeping bags and lots of huddling. Farmer's daughter, it was so cold and they were late getting a little bit, started. They had some sound problems, but it was, their music's fantastic. We could hear them over here anyway.
The performers say they were impressed with the event.
I think it's great. I know it's the first year, and I know in association with the Knights of Columbus, it's a good event. Everybody seems to be having a great time, and I know the weekend lineup is spectacular. So I know all will go well this weekend, and hopefully in future years we can come back.
Sunday dawned with nothing but sunshine, and 2,500 people took advantage of it. The Nobles were one of the last families to pack up and head out. They hope they'll be back again next year.
They're going to have to hold it a few more years. I think it's a great location. I think they could succeed at it. Craven is always too big. I think this one probably will never get real big, as Craven's size, but I think for the most part, the local people really support it.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now let's take a look at today's agriculture prices. As we take a look at sports now, the third event on the CPCA Tour was this weekend in Wainwright. With a wrap-up on the weekend, here's Thomas Wildman.
There goes the horn.
Wainwright had a large crowd in attendance on each and every day for the Wainwright Stampede. That saw 3 days of exciting CPCA chuck wagon races.
Outstanding, we get too little, too late. Logan's going to get him by a horseman advantage on that piece. And Denny Rien.
The race for the aggregate was very tightly contested and came down to Championship Sunday, where at the end Preston Faithful won the aggregate with a total time of 3:12.52.
Feels really good to basically get our second win. The first win is definitely one you want to get, but the second one, you're doing something right. The horses are working, and your barn crew's all working, so things are really looking up around here to get that second win for sure.
With his win at Wainwright, Faithful is moving up in the CPCA driver rankings. Faithful is looking to keep the momentum going and try to be the CPCA High Point Champion of the year.
Any one of these drivers come here and ask them if they want to be a Canadian champion, and they said no, they'd probably be lying to you. We're all here to win. We're all here to do the best we can, and some years we have building years. We have to eat those years, break those horses, and some years you get them horses where things are rolling good and fast, and you got to try to keep them horses sound. But for myself, I'm looking to do the best I can at the NACC. Next couple of weeks, I'm looking to be in that championship heat. Also, at the end of the season, I'm looking to be in that championship heat in the top 4 for the CPCA and give these boys a run for their money.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
The Lloydminster Extreme Lacrosse Club are nearing the end of their regular season, and as they approach the postseason action, Adil Ahmed has more.
The Lloydminster Extreme dominated in their game on Sunday, winning by a score of 13-6 against the Sherwood Park Titans. The Extreme took control for a majority of the game, leading by as many as 10 goals at one point. Head coach Graham Murray says goaltending and defense were the keys to the team's victory.
We played great defensively. I thought Riker played outstanding in net for us, but it makes his job a lot easier when our defense plays lockdown like that. We shut down their big gun there, 47, and I thought we played really well.
Besides defense, the Extreme provided some offense as well. Forward Jaden Plamondon recorded 6 points total against the Titans, giving himself 58 on the season. which is good for first place in Tier 2 of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League.
I had great offense with me. Like, I have a lot of assists, as Graham already mentioned, but like my teammates are always there, always open, and it's easy to find them for me. So
Another player who has been providing offense for the Extreme is Captain Jared Fisher, who lit the lamp once against the Titans, adding to his goal total of 32 on the season. Fisher says the team's offensive surge in the second period was one of the factors to the victory.
We had a good spark. Our offense started moving lots. We got our passes going, and balls are going in the net.
With a win on Sunday, the Extreme have now won 4 straight games in a row and will look to keep on rolling into their final regular season game when they take on their arch rivals, the Lakeland Heat, here at home at the Hillman Redden Arena on July 9th. Adil Ahmed, Primetime, Local News.
The Colorado Avalanche have dethroned the Tampa Bay Lightning for hockey's biggest prize.
Up it comes to the line. Colorado has won the Stanley Cup.
The Avalanche knocked out the two-time defending champs 2-1 in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's the third cup for the franchise and the first in 21 years. The championship also caps an impressive performance by Cal McCarr, who was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner as playoff MVP. Congrats to the Avs on a hard-fought playoff run there. Time now to head on over to Shelby Clark, though, now for a look at your evening weather forecast.
Much again there, Jace. Yeah, congratulations to the Avs for that win there. And we were even saying this before, you know, nice to see that us, you know, with the Oilers, we lost to those champions. So it's a well-fought time, you know, good for them. So, but let's move on to something more important. Let's move on to some extended weather. Moving on, starting off with the central area here of our provinces, we'll be looking at temperatures across Alberta and Saskatchewan here. And on the Alberta side, we warmed up slightly from what we were seeing a little bit later on last week, especially over in Jasper, just seeing 27. So Jasper seeing close to that 30-degree range. As we go a little bit lower, Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House at 21 and 22. So you go a little bit higher up there, it is 16 and 14 up in Athabasca and Whitecourt. So they are looking slightly cooler, as well as over in Cold Lake, just seeing 15. And Edson and Edmonton right in the center there at 18 and 19 degrees. So we are seeing definitely a lot of different temperatures over on the Alberta side, kind of ranging from that 14 to even almost 30 degrees here. And switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are kind of a little bit slightly warmer in most spots, with Melfort, North Battleford, and Saskatoon seeing 20 to 21 degrees. Meadow Lake and Prince Albert, it's a couple degrees cooler. They're just at 18, but not looking too bad. Going over to our northern zone here. Hopefully it switches. There we go. Did it. Jay's helped me out back there. Over in the northern zone now on the Saskatchewan side, they're looking slightly cooler than what they were seeing last week. They are seeing slightly closer to that 20 degrees point, but slightly a little bit cooler, with most spots seeing just 16, 17 degrees over on this end. Stony Rapids is just at 15, while we go a little bit over in the other end there with Wollaston Lake and South End. They are the coolest there at 13 degrees. Switching now back to our Alberta side here, they are seeing slightly warmer temperatures compared to the Saskatchewan side. 19 in both High Level and Fort Chippewa, while it is 18 in both Grand Prairie and Fort McMurray, and Peace River and Slave Lake are at 15 and 17. Going over to our southern zone now. They are definitely warmed up quite a bit. Now we are in the summer season. I think they are going to be keeping up this nice warm streak for a while now. Most spots are seeing even closer to that 30 mark instead of just 20 degrees. Coronation and Calgary slightly cooler at 22, 24, but still seeing past 20, so not too bad. 25 over in Banff, and Medicine Hat and Lethbridge, you're definitely seeing the warmest there at 27, 28. Going now to our Saskatchewan side, they're kind of in the same range there as well compared to the Alberta side. 22, 21 in Yorkton and Kindersley, while the rest are just seeing 24, 25, except for over in Estevan, they are just a degree warmer compared to the rest. But now going back across the region, seeing what we will expect throughout our evening and throughout the night tonight, we will be slightly cooled down compared to what we have been seeing. We've been seeing those double digits for a little bit last week for sure throughout our evenings, but now we are seeing those single digits for most spots across the region tonight. So we will be seeing between 5 and 7 for most spots for their evening low. Lacrosse and Provost will be seeing slightly warmer with a low of 10 to 11 degrees, but we will be seeing a slightly cooler evening than what we have been seeing earlier on. So hopefully we will get back to those double digits soon after we kind of get past these wetter conditions this week. And looking hopefully at our 3-day forecast here now, we are going to be seeing 21 tomorrow with a mixture of some sun and cloud. Seeing a cooler day on Wednesday for sure at 15. Then seeing 20 on Thursday with a lot more sunnier days. So don't worry, we will be seeing a couple sunnier days coming up this week. And now last but not least, just showing off a couple more photos of the Garth Brooks concert. This one's from Jessica. I thought this was a great shot, showing how many people were there to support. And seeing another one here from Shelly. Love this one because this is a nice close-up of them performing there. So thank you to everyone that submitted some nice photos to kind of show off how nice that was to get out and see them live. That's all I got for now. RJ Smack will have our news coming up after the break. Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Jessie Wang with Edward Jones Investments, and she is one of the financial advisors here in the border city. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, really happy to be able to have you on here and be able to speak on this. Now, there is a Edward Jones golf tournament that's going to be coming up here in July. So I really wanted to speak on this and help get the word out about this. So let's start off with talking about what this tournament is all about.
Absolutely. So we are here located in Lloydminster, Alberta. There are 3 advisors here working with Edward Jones. And a few months ago, we have decided to do something for our community since we are open up now. So we have decided to put together a golf tournament for the Health Foundation to raise some funds for Project Sunrise to support mental health.
Perfect. And how did this idea really start up for Edward Jones to be able to do this? How did this idea really begin to be able to have this golf tournament?
It really started with the 3 of us talking together because I'm new to the community. So when I first joined the community here, that was about 6 months ago, we were kind of going back and forth. What can we do to give back a bit for the community? It has been really hard a couple of years for a lot of businesses in Lloyd here. And one of my colleagues, Danny Haygarth, he had experience organizing events like this. So he suggested a golf tournament, and Judith Wagner and myself, we thought it was a great idea. And then it come down to picking a charity to do it for. And at the end, we voted for Project Sunrise just because the last couple of years, more and more, we realize how important it is to have mental health and to have that support available for like in the community and around us. So we reached out to the Health Foundation, and Stephanie was very, very open to the idea and very supportive. So we decided to work together and put it together.
Oh, perfect. And since kind of starting this up with this idea to help support Project Sunrise, how has that support been so far from others in the community?
Very well, actually. We have reached out to many businesses in the community just to see if they could help us to either be a sponsor or to come out play with golf with us. Obviously, with schedule being in the summer, everyone is busy. Not everyone's able to do some, but pretty much everyone we have reached out, they have either decided to do something for the tournament or spread the words around. So it's been great to see how everyone's coming together in the community here.
And what day, when is this going to be, and where will it be? Just so I can help get the information out there exactly for others that are interested in participating in the tournament.
Absolutely. So the tournament will be held on July the 6th. So that will be next Wednesday at the Lloydminster Golf and Country Club. Registration will start at 8 o'clock and shotgun start at 9. So for anyone who's coming out to play, there will be lunch and supper. We're hoping it will be a great day and everyone will have lots of fun.
Oh, that sounds really good. And for people that want to see this information online, just to be able to find out more about it and everything, where can they go online to see more information on this tournament?
Yeah, so they can definitely go to the Health Foundation's website. It's www.lrhf.ca, I believe. And then if they go under events, there will be the information there available.
Is there any more you want to add on this golf tournament that I may have missed out on that you want to let people know about?
I think we have covered everything. We are still looking for a few golfers. I know it's kind of last minute, just schedule change. Some people can't make it. So we are still looking for a few golfers. Or if you want to be a sponsor of some sort, there's always room for door prizes and sponsors. If there's any more information, I think the easiest way probably be reaching out to us at the Edward Jones office here in Lloyd, as we have all the information available. So any phone call is welcome if they want to find out more.
Perfect. Well, it's really great to hear about Edward Jones doing this tournament for organizations here in the community and charities and helping out others in the community during these times, especially like you were saying. So thanks again so much for joining us today, Jessie.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'd like to thank you for joining us here today.
My pleasure, Sarah.
All right, so I have, of course, some questions regarding your book, Stay. So my first question will be, why did you choose to write it in a poetic format?
So it's called a novel in verse, or a verse novel. And I had read one of these, a book written in this genre many, many years ago. It's called Out of the Dust by Karen Hesse, Hesse. She's an American writer, and it's a story about a family that survives the experience of the Great Dust Bowl of the 30s, and it's told through the perspective of a young girl. And I just found it so compelling to read poetry that that links in this way. So, like my own novel in verse, every poem links to or speaks to the next piece in the story until you have a whole. I just found it really, really compelling. And then as I began to do some research, I learned that the verse novel has in fact been with us since the days of Homer, and is loved by teachers because it's just so accessible to students, whether they are a reluctant reader or an avid reader. So it just became a huge challenge. As a poet, I just had to get my head around the verse novel.
Stay, of course, is about a girl who is turning 12.
Yes.
And her family is splitting up, and then her dad gets cancer. Why did you choose to tell this story?
I've written 5 books, 4 books of poetry and this novel in verse, and they all deal with families who are struggling with breakdown, separation, divorce, and it's my preoccupation. I experienced divorce when I was around the age of the main character in Stay. And so it's just a story that I keep going back to. I'm just compelled to pull all the pieces together. I keep looking at it through different lenses, and the opportunity to tell the story from a child's perspective was just too good an idea for me to ignore.
Readers who read the story, what do you hope they get from it? What's the message you really want to come across in that story?
First, I hope that they just enjoy it as a story, because it's a good ride. I mean, there's lots of things happening for Millie. She's trying to deal with the breakdown of her family. She wants everyone to stay together. She desperately wants to adopt a dog. But she's conflicted because, of course, she's moving between her mother's home one week and her father's apartment the next. Dog just doesn't fit the picture, and then later her dad gets cancer. So she's a young girl with lots of conflict in her life. So I want people to just enjoy the story and see its resolution. I want people to get hooked on poetry as a living form. There's nothing dull and boring about poetry. And also, I really want this to be a book that parents can hand to a child and read to them or talk to them later and help them to understand what goes on in a family that's going through these troubles. I've heard from kids that this book is one that gives them language and insight into, what a friend might be going through while their family copes with this. And kids themselves, over half the kids in most classrooms I go into live between two homes and have experience. So they relate to this story.
Why did you decide to end it the way you did?
Well, I didn't want to. I wanted to be realistic, and I wanted to be hopeful. And I have been, I pay attention to what happens with divorce and divorce laws and the way families reconfigure themselves. And I became aware of a family like Millie's who broke up, but the parents, to their credit, managed to stay friendly, and they took family holidays together. And I thought, well, let's just play with that and see where that goes. So the book doesn't Millie doesn't get what she wants, but she gets something different that is realistic in contemporary times.
Is there anything you would want to say about your book that I haven't really touched on at all in my questions that you really want people out there to know going in?
I'd like to just read this brief poem that occurs early in the book when Millie learns that her parents are divorcing. And this is called Secret Agent. I polish a dark keyhole in the mist of my bedroom window, spy Dad outside beside the car, trunk lid open, streetlight directing suitcases, blankets, books, the old vacuum cleaner, pots and pans, desk chair, watch him climb behind the wheel, pull away from the curb, drive so slow I could jog beside him, ask where he's going, but he turns at the corner, leaves a gray trail of smoke that lingers in the night air, fades away.
Thank you again so much for joining today and doing an interview with me.
Thank you, Sarah. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
And thank you all so much for joining us for our first hour of Primetime Local News. Stay with us. Our second hour continues next.